But let's move into the final segment, 21 through 30 of our Mock Draft 4.0. If you're liking it, let us know down in the comments below. Also, if you have any ideas, you have any comments, questions, concerns, let us know. Go in detail. We'll read it on our mailbag next week.
True.
We want to hear from you. Whether you disagree or agree with us, let us know down in the comments below. Also, check out patreon.com/mostvaluedpodcast. We are revamping it April 1, so keep an eye out on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that, because it's going to be big. I feel like it's going to be big. I think it's a really good change.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
Yikes. I think it's going to be a good change, though. Let's move 21 through 30. Ricky, start us off.
Well, starting off at number 21, the Thunder are going to take Nassir Little, the forward from UNC.
What was that?
I don't know. I felt like doing it. Then at number 22, I'm feeling it, Dave. Feeling it. At 22, the Celtics are going to take Luka Semenik. Did I say that right? Semenik? I hope I said it right. Forward from International. Then the Trailblazers taking Trey Jones, guard out of Duke.
From International.
I love that you say that.
From International.
I don't even care to look up his club.
Cavs via the Rockets at number 24 are going to go with Nikhil Alexander-Walker, guard out of VT. Then at 25, the Pacers go with Zach Norville Jr., the guard from the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Then at 76, the 76ers
26.
go with, or 26, I said 76?
You did.
You're really having a rough
pick
thing,
76, the 76ers take Iggy Brzdikis, the forward from the Michigan Wolverines, who just moved on to the Big Ten final that'll be played tomorrow as we're recording this. Then 27, Cam Johnson, the forward from UNC. Then Admiral Schofield, the forward from Tennessee, going to the Warriors at 28. Then Bruno Fernando, or as I called him on the big board, Bruno Fernandez, the center from the Maryland Terrapins, going to the Spurs via the Raptors at 29. And then rounding it out at 30, the Bucks taking Talon Horton Tucker, forward from Iowa State, who is currently right now beating Kansas.
Something I love about you is that
I just get weird energy.
No, when you're wrong, you get weirdly proud. I called this guy the complete wrong fucking name, and I'm proud of it.
Sometimes you just gotta buy in.
He owns it.
I ashamedly just referred to Japanese.
I am
the Japanese alphabet. The Japanese language as Mandarin, which is probably so wrong at so many levels.
You corrected yourself.
I corrected myself, but I am so embarrassed by
said
that.
you were
You'd
sorry.
be like, oh, well.
And then, like,
you're sorry.
The next segment, you're like, remember that time?
Yeah.
You didn't mean any harm by it.
No, I didn't, but it's wrong.
It's funny.
Dave, 21 through 30.
And at 21, I've got the Thunder going Jonte Porter from Hurt.
Gorga Batiste. Don't forget Gorga.
Oh, yeah, he also called him Gorga.
Jesus Christ.
At 22, I've got the Celtics going with Goga.
So I brought it up because
wow. Strong game. 23, I've got the Trailblazers going with Grant Williams. At 24, I've got the Cavs going with Tyler God, I hate myself. Hero. At 25, I've got the Pacers going with Luguentz Dort. At 26, I've got the 76ers going with Cam Johnson. At 27, I've got the Nets going with Talon Horton Tucker. At 28, I've got the Warriors going with Trey Jones. 29, I've got the Spurs going Eric Pascal. And at 30, I've got the Bucks taking Matthias Thybulle.
Love it. I love Matthias Thybulle.
I know.
Being on
I literally just put him there
draft.
just for you, Sean.
I love it. At 21, I have the best player in the draft going to the
you were
Thunder,
going to say
Nassir
the NBA, weren't you?
He's about to be in the
Oh,
NBA.
did I not say that?
As soon as he gets drafted,
It
he'll
sounded
be in
like
the
you were
NBA.
going to say that, but then didn't.
At 21, I have the new GOAT, Naz Reid,
There you go.
going to the Thunder. At 22, I have the Celtics taking Jonte Porter. At 23, the Trailblazers taking Nassir Little from UNC. 24, the Cavs via the Rockets taking Goga Batiste. Hope we're getting it right. We've learned. We've tried.
No one's corrected us.
I think that one's good.
25, Pacers taking Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. 26, 76ers taking Tyler Hero from the Kentucky Wildcats. 27, the Nets via the Nuggets taking Darius Bazley, the high school kid committed
From
to
New Balance.
Yeah, from New Balance, the intern from New Balance. He was a 13th ranked prospect from ESPN, the high school rankings. Committed to Syracuse, decommitted. Was going to go to the G League, and then got
Jake don't like him.
Yeah, he got $1 million internship to go work for New Balance. So good for him. Warriors 28 taking Grant Williams from Tennessee. 29 Spurs via the Raptors taking Matthias Thybulle. And 30 Bucks taking Daniel Gafford from Arkansas. Let's jump in first. I want to talk about Nassir Little. This guy sucks at basketball. He just, like, what does he bring to the floor? And the only reason why I put him there is because he has size and because this draft class sucks. I do not like him as a prospect. I was put there because I feel like I'd be ashamed if I didn't put him at 30. I don't get it. I don't see it. He hasn't shown me anything. And he had the opportunity to. He went up against Cam Reddish, a guy who I just bashed in 1 through 10 for not putting up production. He went up against Cam Reddish, and Cam Reddish didn't have that great of a first half in the first 18 minutes or whatever when Nassir Little was on him. So that was fine. But then he goes up on Zion and gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah,
so if he's going to go up against the best player in this draft class,
and he was the number 4
guy,
coming into this class. Naz?
Yeah, Naz was the number 4 high school prospect. He got his ass handed to him by the best high school prospect. I don't see it with him. What am I missing? What should we be looking for?
With me, I'm pretty sure I came to this realization
that he sucks.
When Brandon and I talked about Nassir Little on our last big board. And for me, I think it just comes down to last time we were on a mock draft, I was saying, well, it's about what's above the shoulders, it's about what's above the shoulders, not below it. I think he's in his head too much. And I'm like, the only thing I can think of why, because we saw recently a good game out of him. Like a week ago, like it was a podcast or so where we trashed him. Or Dave trashed him. It's like, oh man, Nassir Little had a really good game today. Like we've seen good games, but the only thing I can think of going up against Duke, it being a now national stage. They're not at Duke. They're not in, like, I know ESPN's going to be there. You're playing Duke.
Yep.
But like now it's the ACC tournament and the lights of March are on you.
Oh yeah.
I just think maybe the pressure got to him. But the big thing is, I think that he's way too much into his own head. It's kind of like when you're trying to walk and you're thinking, like when you're sick and you're like, wow, I actually have to think about taking breaths and breathing. I've never had to do this before.
And something Roy Williams said after the loss to Duke was that we still have 6 more games. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we still have, the national championship to worry about. And national championship ring.
They still have 6 more games until they lose.
Until they lose 1.
I kind of like UNC. In the tourney.
Yeah,
I know this is pre-tourney.
I mean, he had 2
until they play Duke.
He had 3
or until they play Zion.
He had 3 games against Duke in the last month and a half, basically.
2 without Zion.
2 without Zion. And in those 2 games, let's see, he played 11 minutes, went 1 of 3, 2 points, 2 points, 2 assists, 1 board, 9 points, 4 boards, 1 block, and then 9 points, 5 boards.
Like, in that last game.
None of those stand out.
In that last game, that was probably his best game that Duke won, and he got his ass handed to him by Zion.
Yep.
But I really like the way he was running the floor.
He played off ball. He was actually active off ball, which is nice.
And that's the thing that I've seen the most from him. But still, his best game is 19 points. 19 points against St. Francis of Pennsylvania.
He's got a 23.
Where?
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that was the one.
I don't know how to read.
That was his one good game.
That's right.
He had an 18er, which was Florida State, and then the 23 prior to that.
His high, 23, 21, 19, 18, 14.
Yeah.
Twice. And, some of it since Elon, St. Francis, Pennsylvania, UNC, Wilmington, Harvard.
No. The Virginia Tech game was his most complete game. He had the inside shot going. He hit 2 out of 3 threes. He hit 7 from 7 from the line. That was his best game by far. And you can watch the rest of his game and go, oh, that's an anomaly.
Yeah.
That's weird. That shouldn't happen normally. And that's a bad thing to say about someone who is a top prospect from this class. That is... It's terrible because he's someone who his defense is supposed to be, he's got that NBA body. He's ready to defend at the NBA level. And when your defense isn't flashy, it's hard to tell. So you're playing off the eye test at that point.
Yeah.
And we're watching him against the best players in college basketball as of late. And he is not able to stand up to the level of competition.
And he showed his defense in the Nike Summit, and he was going up against Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, and he was stopping them defensively. And that's where he kind of got that... what's it called?
Moniker.
The what's it
title.
Called? Yeah, the title. You
No.
got the
What's the? I know what you're
God
thinking, but
damn
I'm
it.
bad at words.
The label, kind of
You'd say label, but that's
label
not the word.
of a defender.
The moniker.
Not really.
Okay.
Whatever.
Reputation. Is what you're looking for.
Reputation as a great defender, and it really hasn't showed that much. And you could have showed that.
Analogy for moniker, reputation.
No, it is. But I just wanted to get the right word.
Yeah.
I just look at him. I just like he has that talent. He has that body. He has everything that you want from a prospect. But it's Cam Reddish, but times 1,000. Like there is no production. Like there is nothing that's like wow. Like Cam should be starting in the team. Nassir Little definitely should not be starting at UNC.
We all understand why he's not.
Yeah, if he comes in the combine and has a great combine, like maybe, and if he's playing well on 5-on-5s, then
He's
maybe.
going to get turned up playing against chairs in the workouts? Like, is that
If
what
he
we're
does,
saying?
he's falling second round. Like, I think this could be a Scale thing.
Whoa.
Where Scale was so bad at Kentucky, he falls to pretty much the 26th pick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's actually a great comp, though. Like,
Scale was
for
the
what happened
guy.
to you in college.
Yeah, because Scale was like number 1 high school rank at some point.
I think he bounced out right before. Yeah.
In 2015, he was the second player in the 2015 one, right behind Ben Simmons, in front of Jaylen Brown, Brandon Ingram, and like he never had it.
Yeah.
In the NBA, he had some spots where he was like, whoa, but like he just never had it in the NBA. He never had it in college, and just like I feel like that might be Nassir Little. It's just like Scale was supposed to be this offensive monster, and Nassir was supposed to be this defensive monster, and they never hit either in college or the NBA. And I just feel like that's what it's going to be. Everything should be there for Nassir Little. He just hasn't been able to put it together.
Well,
I hope he does.
Here's the thing, and
But you're thinking it's unlikely that he does.
Yeah, I want to put him in my second round, but I just feel guilty doing it.
Well, and this is one thing that it just popped in my head because I mentioned this on the big board, and obviously you guys weren't there. I can finally mention it to you guys. So I'm going to play a little blind resume with you right now, Sean. I've got 2 guys. I'm going to read you off some stats. You tell me which one you'd rather pick, okay? Guy number 1, both of them freshmen. They were one-and-done guys, didn't stay for another year. So the first guy, 9.3 points per game, 0.8 assists per game, 5 boards a game, shot 44% from the field, 35% from 3.
Can I get their 3-point percentages too? Or their free throw?
Free throw percentage was a 71.8%.
Okay. That's player 1?
That's player 1.
How many minutes?
How many minutes?
I love
He
it.
got
The thoroughness is needed.
21 minutes a game.
Okay.
And
Player
he played
2?
36 games. Player 2, 9.4 points per game, 0.7 assists per game,
Okay.
4.6 rebounds, shot 46% from the field, 26.5% from 3, 76.8 from the foul line, played 18 minutes a game.
Well, I know that player B is Nassir Little.
Yes.
Because
Because you've studied his stats.
Yeah, it's the free throw percentage because the huge he's not good 3-point percentage, but like you look at the free throw percentage and that's what I like have in my first round because like maybe he does have that in him.
And yes, these are different positions, but I'm going to make my point after you give
It's
me
just
why.
it's not Scale because Scale wasn't taking that many
No,
threes.
it's not.
He's a starting wing in the NBA today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Stanley Johnson.
No. Do you want one
Oh,
more guess?
starting? He's starting.
starting.
Kelly
Yeah.
Oubre?
It is Kelly Oubre. And
Yeah.
Nice second guess.
and the reason why I bring that up, and I brought that up, was
It feels so good.
similar
pretty good.
stats in college, only played 1 year. But look at Kelly Oubre in the NBA. Was drafted by the Wizards. His first year needed, like his basically first and second year were him adapting. 63 games, only started 9. 79, only started 5. 81 games his third year. And that was where we kind of saw that first leap of like, oh, he's scoring 11 per game now. Then he took another progression that second year to where now he's a 16 per game scorer as a 23-year-old this time on Phoenix and Washington. Not just Washington, but I wonder if that's kind of the path for Nassir Little. We're drafting him. I'm not expecting you to contribute until year 3. Like year 3 is really when your potential is really going to cash in.
Yeah, I think that's a good comp. I just and Oubre was 15th, so I think.
And Oubre also had the basketball IQ of like, a brick. So
Do you think Nassir Little has a better IQ?
I mean, we've
I
questioned
think they're in
it.
the same range.
Okay.
I think that's actually a really valid comp.
Yeah, I think that's a good comp.
That you
Bravo.
hope.
That's good.
I
That's
usually
good.
don't have that, so when
I
I do,
know,
I got to
that's-
bring it up.
Yeah.
I would. Can I pass on both?
I mean,
Ubre's
now that
been
you know who they are.
Ubre's been better at Phoenix, and he's definitely going to get a second look. But I don't know. I mean, he needed a change of scenery. He was playing with all-stars. It's just like he needed a lot. to
Well, he
get to
needed
where
usage.
he was.
Like they weren't. The Wizards weren't going to pay him.
But
So-
is usage Nassir Little's problem? I don't know. And I again, we'll have to wait and see.
Be
I
interesting
think
to see because that's the one thing he hasn't got because he's playing behind two guys better than him.
Or he just needs time to kind
That
of.
too.
he's got lottery potential, but I can't put him in the lottery right now.
Yeah.
But let's move now to the 76ers because we have guys that we want to talk about. Dave, you have Cam Johnson. Ricky, you have Iggy Brzdikis from Michigan. And then I have Tyler Hero from Kentucky. Let's talk about the red hot Tyler Hero. You have, Dave, him going to the Cavs. And Ricky, you have him not on your board.
I did originally, and then he got bumped out.
Okay, I thought you did. Well, let's talk about him because he's been on fire for Kentucky, and he might be the second best shooter in this draft.
He probably is.
He's got silky smooth stroke. He could score like crazy. What's holding him back, Dave? What do you look at him and what's the negatives of him?
The negative is his consistency. His shot, I'd say consistency on top of his shot selection. The crazy thing is he's hitting 94% of his free throws.
Yep.
And he's taking a couple free throws a game. Like, it's very hit or miss. He can draw contact. He really needs to sell better. But, like, multiple games of 6 of 6, 8 of 8, 8 of 9, 4 of 4, 5 of 5. Like, he has that scoring ability. And I know we talked about him.
Dude's got to get to the line.
Yeah. And when he's doing it, he's on fire. And that's the thing is, as of late, he's really come on. You talked about Keldon Johnson's decline. I think it's more so Tyler Hero's rise to the top because he is something special when it comes to scoring. His shot, butter. Like, defensively, he's a very try-hard player. I don't know. The question for me is, like, how good is he with his tool set? Because he doesn't have a great NBA body. But I think that he's good enough. I'm going with good enough, lots of effort. I'm going to give him the pass because he doesn't have an NBA body. So if you want to take that as the number one concern, be my guest. But the shot is there. I love it. And he gets the line. He can pass. He can get boards. He can get steals. Like, he can do everything you want.
And
for me, he's the guy who I think that if he continues this run through his local tourney and then the actual March tourney, like, he's the guy who's going to rock it.
What's his role, though? In the NBA, what's his role? Do you think he's a spot-up shooter? Do you think he's a guy who can hold the ball, like carry the ball?
I think he's a secondary scorer for a team. I don't know necessarily. He's not going to be a primary ball handler, but I think he's a secondary ball handler and a secondary scorer. Like, if he's your number two option, you're doing pretty good.
Here's the thing that I'll bring up. I'll do a little blind resume, just like Ricky did.
Damn it.
All right. This is for both of you. So if one of you guys want to write down. This I'll do per 40 because some of the guys are screwed up, but they both played the same amount of games. So per 40, player A averaging 19.4 points per game, 6.7 boards, 2.1 assists, and then from the field shooting 47.5% from the field, 43.4 from three, and then 89.5% from the line.
Yep.
And then you got that down.
I got like none of that down. I got the shooting percentages.
Okay.
My notes was updating.
What I'll do is it's Kyle Korver versus Tyler Hero because they're both bigger guards.
Korver's a bit bigger, but yeah.
And Korver was a guy he shot 89% from the line in college, which is huge. But he was a guy that was shooting 4 threes a game in his freshman year, and he had a 45% 3-point percentage throughout his career.
Yeah.
I just think if Harrow stayed around, he'd be at that level because he's getting a ton of. He's not getting a ton of minutes. Well, he's getting a ton of minutes, but he's not getting the same amount of minutes that Korver was.
Korver was insane. Yeah.
I just think that if he was on a worse team, he'd be doing stuff that Kyle Korver would. And I know it's just like white guys, white guards. But I just think that
lazy comps.
He's got such a quick release.
Yeah.
And I think that as a scorer off the bench to start, he might grow into a bigger role like Korver did. But even then, I think he can be a great shooter.
Next thing you'll hear is JJ Redick.
Yeah. Not like Redick. Redick was different.
I mean, I know he's not a guard.
I'm sorry, I'm just taking shots at the the white guard situation.
Yeah.
And like the thing that I
wanted to be like the Kelly Oubre thing. It wasn't as good.
Well, I mean,
Ricky, that was really good.
I almost had the same thought of, but a different player of like, I know this player played 3 years and Hero would only be 1, but Sam Decker. Like that to me is like
Triple-decker.
where it's like a player where, yes, they shoot very well, they're playing well in college, but at the NBA, how is everything going to like we've said numerous times, translate over. Like, to me, the big things is he shoots well from the line, but that doesn't help you when you're only averaging 3 shots from the line a game. Like, 94% is great, but I would love you to get to the line more and really cash in on that because no one's defending you. But number 2, how much of it, and we're not going to get this true answer till the combine, but he's a guy that has a shorter wingspan than his actual height. Like most of these guys we're talking about, he's 6'9", but he's got a 6'11" wingspan. He's a guy that 6'5", but has maybe like a inch to half an inch shorter wingspan than his actual height.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and you mentioned that we'll have to see what that's like when it comes to the combine, and if that's different, maybe it's just a bad measurement. But that also isn't a huge killer. Like, he might not just be a good defender. I mean, we see Trae Young. Like, Trae Young has a dinosaur wingspan.
Yeah.
But that's really not affected him. So I think that's really going to affect him once it comes to the defensive side of the ball. But if he's able to shoot, he's going to have a place in the NBA. So that's the thing that I really look at. And if you're looking at the 76ers, if they're getting rid of J.J. Redick, it's just going to provide shooting for them. And I think that's the biggest thing that the Sixers need is that bench scoring. And if they are able to add a player on that can, provide some hustle and score and shoot from the outside, it'll make things easier for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Jokingly, I looked up people with a stat line above 40%, above 37% from 3, and above 90% from the line.
Yeah.
So J.J. Redick's number 2 on that list with shooting splits of 41, or I should say 43 from the field, 39 from 3, 91 from
Who's
the
number
line.
1?
Tawan Porter from Oregon in 2006-2007 had the most points, but Tyler Hero's number 4 as far as points scored in that category, and 47% from the field, so better. 54% from 2 because his shots, he doesn't mid-range. JJ took a handful of deeper mid-range shots in college. He didn't stay strict to that three-point line. Just 2% worse than him from 3. 39 versus 37, but then 94% from the line versus 91.9.
Yeah, and JJ as a rookie, were you looking at his rookie stats?
I was just looking at freshman year stats, correct.
Yeah, I mean, the freshman year stats are really uncanny.
So Klay Thompson, very similar range, 42% from 2, 41% from 3, 90% from the line. Like, I think he's, and I don't want to get excited because Klay Thompson and JJ Redick are in the same company, but you have to start thinking,
yeah, but even then,
that's some great company. Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving's stats were off the charts, though.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna go there.
Even then with the Klay and JJ comp, like, they stayed another year. So should Tyler Hero stay another year?
I don't. I think if he stayed another year, he would go top 10.
You think that?
I do.
Really?
I think that the funny thing is this is a weaker class, but at the same time, I think that another year of college and without having name
PJ Washington.
Nope. Guy next to him. Keldon Johnson. Take up attempts. I think that he would be a 20-plus a night scorer every night consistently. Like, he would be dominating the college game, would be my opinion. Because that's what we're watching out of him right now when he's getting a ton of minutes during these late conference games. He's played like 30-plus minutes in the last 10 games, basically, 9 games. And yeah, he's putting up like 17 points, 5 boards, 2.4 assists, great shooting splits, 54, 43, 97. Like, he absolutely could be a 20-point a game scorer if he came back next year and be a top 10 pick. But I think that you're going to watch him have a good tourney run, and he's going to be a late lotto pick. Like, that's where his top end is. He could hit 14. In my mind, because
that'd be interesting.
His shooting's ridiculous. I get it from a defensive standpoint. His body's not going to be great for you, so he'll be a liability there. But at the same time,
what if he has a bad tournament? Does he fall out of the first round?
I don't think he falls out because I still think the splits for shooting are there a year long. So he'll still be like in the 20 to 30 range. Worst case scenario, I think he goes like first 2 picks of the second round because the Bulls will sell a pick. Cash considerations, getting the shout out. But
to Mike 2K.
I absolutely think that we're seeing the usage crank up and we're seeing it pay off. Like, he had one bad game in the past month.
I'm gonna throw one out because today he wasn't that hot.
Yikes!
I know it's one game, but like today lost to Tennessee 4 of 9 from the field, not
terrible,
bad.
terrible shooting split.
2 of 5 from 3,
Yep.
0 of 0 from the foul line, finished with 10 points. Got 4 assists, but really it's like, that to me is the crux. It's like, hey, here's my biggest strength, here's my biggest superpower, and I never have the opportunity.
Well, and I think
use
if he was getting to the line more,
That
I
would
think
be
I think
Tennessee,
he'd be a higher lotto pick. But then that makes me question his quickness. Is he quick enough to get around people to actually get to the lane?
Well, I mean, in the last games, it was 8 of 9, 8 of 8, 2 of 2, 6 of 6, 2 of 2, 2 of 2, 4 of 4, 2 of 2. Like, he had been getting to the line consistently up until this game. He's had a couple stretches where he gets zeroed out. Three different stretches this year where it was 3 games in a row where he got zeroed out.
And
Yeah, but he's only had 4 or more. Like he's only had 11 games where he's gone to the line 4 or more times.
Right.
So I mean,
I think that's the thing,
a large
though.
percentage of his games. He's been he's been 3
It's
or
funny
less.
because
There's-
Tennessee twice. But the
Well,
last time
and-
he played Tennessee, they held him.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing I was going to throw out is
Because this is now his 9th time not going to the line in a game.
was it just he got the jump on, he had a bad game, but Tennessee in that loss to Kentucky was like, oh, we know what we have to do. Let's game plan for him. And that second game, it was like second game and now third game.
Gotta say, this
he's
is
had
third
bad
game,
games
yeah.
against Tennessee.
3 games
Where-
in a month, you can definitely game plan against people.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, if he can get to the line more consistently, he's money. He's absolutely money. Tennessee's a hard team to play because, A, they're one of the best teams in college basketball, period.
For sure.
And B, defensively, they play team defense like none other.
Yeah.
Like, they're at the top of all the advanced stats for a reason. And because they play bigger guys at most positions, like, you're going to get low contact. And it's funny because it's like Grant Williams still got the line 11 times for Tennessee. So you know the refs weren't just swallowing the whistle. So you got to wonder about that. But if he could get to the line more, yeah,
Let's move to some different teams. We got the Bucks, Thunders, and Spurs we want to cover. Let's start at the Thunder. Nassir Little, and Jonte Porter are on the board. What are you looking for this team? Because when I look at Nassir Little, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that because you already have a wing that can't score in Terrence Ferguson.
Quick question. Did we even look at the 76ers or just Tyler Hero?
Really just Tyler Hero, but we're not for a long ass time.
I want to ask one question about
Go
the
for it.
Sixers before we
Yeah.
move on is Jimmy Butler leaving going to affect the way this team drafts? Like, do you think Jimmy leaves and then it's like, hey, we got to change it because we thought we'd have Jimmy and now he left us for someone else?
I don't think at this point in the draft you're expecting to find someone who can contribute anywhere close to what Jimmy could give you. So you're just trying to get a guy who can soak up, 5 minutes on the bench during the season.
The thing
right?
is, if they don't sign Jimmy Butler, they're probably just going to bring JJ back.
yeah.
That's where that Butler money's going to go. It's just to JJ Redick.
And you
then
just
you
hope
don't
that,
really
you
need to
know-
fill out a spot on the starting lineup. I mean, the three's going to be open.
Pray
Most
to God
likely.
Zaire Smith is not going to die.
Yeah. And you're going to have a hole open, but even at that point, you're not going to have a guy that you can draft and plug in. So no, I don't really think this is Jimmy Butler's going to affect him. He's going to leave. They need someone to come off the bench and score, and I think that's what you'd be looking for.
Tyler would be a great pick there. As you have, I've got Cam
Johnson would
Johnson
be
going
one.
there because sharpshooter from the outside, with best shooters in the draft. And then you got Iggy,
Yeah.
another great outside
Iggy
shooter.
had a good game today against, I know it's Minnesota, but
Minnesota.
the Minnesota run comes to an end against the Wolverines.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing is just,
Yeah,
for them, they
we
just
all
need shooting.
spotlighting shooting. So
And-
I think that's it. From that team, that's all you can hope for.
Well, it would be perfect is if they won the
Spacing.
lotto, Jimmy Butler leaves, and they can just
And
put
they
Zion
get
Williamson
Zion.
there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that would
Number
be bad.
3, baby.
You know
doesn't-
Adam Silver could pull out that, and he's like, nope.
Nope.
Oh, this one's blank, weirdly.
He pulls it out. Cleveland.
I know how to do that.
Fuck, Wizards. They're blue.
It's not the Lakers, and it's not going to be the Sixers. That's all I can tell you.
Let's
So my only 2 predictions for the lottery balls.
let's move on to some of the other teams.
Conspiracy
Thunder, I have Naz Reid, Ricky of Nassir Little, and Dave, you have Jonte Porter. What does this team need, do you think? Because I'm looking at them, and I think they need some offensive help on the bench. Because you look at this team, they're so good defensively, and it's just like sometimes Russ doesn't have his shots. Schroeder's been up and down. Paul George has really been the only consistent offensive force they have. I think they need some help offensively. That's why Naz Reid. I mean, he's a guy that yes, he might have some motor issues, but when you're playing for the Russell Westbrook led
you're gonna get up for the game.
You're gonna get up, and he's gonna pass the ball to you. And I think that's all that Naz Reid wants is the ball in his hands to score. So if he's playing with that team, I think that's a perfect fit for them.
Well, I mean, for me, it was. The reason why I put Nassir...
I don't know if he'll ever get up for a game. I'll be honest.
Do you know who picked the teams that we're talking about? I did. And you know why I picked the Thunder? Because I want to talk about Naz Reid. Because he's a fucking boss.
I don't think he is, though.
I will say,
good.
He had a really good game against Florida.
Because he's good offensive games.
And these damn LSU guards are fucking pushing him out of the offense. They don't pass to Naz Reid.
But you want to know the
Give
thing?
it to the big guy.
Pick your head up on defense for once. Maybe you'd get the ball more on offense.
He scored most of the points, and the team still lost in the end.
Yep.
I mean,
that happens to LSU players, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that happens, Ben Simmons.
You know who
at least Naz Reid could hit a 3, though.
You know who, what's his name? Will Wade. You know who Will Wade should have paid? He shouldn't have played smart. He should have paid Naz Reid. Give Naz Reid the money.
But, like, for me, like, this was a situation where I was in, you talked about it earlier, Sean, where you're like, I almost didn't want to put Naz Reid in the first round. Or not Naz Reid, Nassir Little in the first round.
Put Naz Reid in the fucking first
round.
round.
I mean, because I didn't put Naz Reid in the first round.
Dumbass.
But this is a situation for me that I feel this is a team that is going to be, I think they're going to end the number 3 team in the West. They're a team that's not going to have much drastic change from this year to next year. They're a team that can say, hey, let's take a roll on Nassir Little. If he can contribute this year, great. If not, he can be a development. This is the same team that took the guy that we all thought was going to be a huge development in Hamidou Diallo, and he goes out and wins the dunk contest.
The man who literally, we were joking around. He's like, he's literally just not good at basketball, but he's physically amazing.
So I looked at that and I said, why can't they do it again with Nassir Little?
Terrence Ferguson, the year prior.
Yeah.
You got a project guy who all of a sudden is just coming out, just chucking threes left and right, and he actually hit them at a great rate to start the year.
Yeah.
It's fallen off a little bit, come back to reality, but still, I mean, it's incredible progress. So I think going for an athletic player like that,
it'd be another thing of just a guy that didn't produce in college, a guy who was highly ranked in high school, and just goes to the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, that is, you got a narrative going.
Well, they're used to it because it's like a college atmosphere there in OKC.
But like, if they can develop Hamidou Diallo, Terrence Ferguson, and Nassir Little, how disgusting is that team?
They can get rid of Roberson.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, that's...
And Roberson coming back, too? I mean, fuck.
That team has scary wing depth.
The defense on that team
is for days.
Scary.
But I just got Jonte going there because I'm on your boat, Sean. Of give me some offense, give me some scoring from the bench, and I think the fact that he is a little slower is not going to kill them because they're not exactly one of the quickest offenses in the NBA. I think because they already work with Steven Adams, they're already used to having a slower big, so I'm cool with going Jonte in that area. Don't put from Missouri. He's from Hurt.
No, he's from Missouri.
He's from Hurt.
Naz Reid is better than Jonte Porter, and that's the facts. Let's move now to the Spurs. Spurs, this is their second pick. I have them going with Matisse Thybulle. Ricky has them going with Bruno Fernandez, not Fernando. And then we have Dave going with...
I was like, wait, that's wrong.
Eric Paschal. Talk a little bit, because we have a Spurs fan on Twitter that has just been coming at me, just being like, all right, who are the Spurs going to take each and every week? And I love it. So I wanted to give him a little bit of love. I have Matisse Thybulle. We've talked about this on Twitter, and I've talked about this on the mock draft. You're not going to find a better defensive player, and he might be able to develop into something offensively, but even if he doesn't, he's going to be a starter because he plays lockdown fucking D.
But they have so many guards. Could you see them like moving him over to a 3 maybe?
I could see him being a 2-3, yes.
Okay.
I think that...
I think that they really have a great backcourt set for the future already with Derek White.
Who could play a ton of defense.
Derek White not only plays defense, but he fills every freaking column in fantasy.
Love it.
I know that
he's on our team.
I know. And I don't want to do this just because he's on our team, but I'm just saying that pickup was pretty great because he has really come along huge this year.
If you have DeJounte Murray and you have Derek White and you have Matisse Thybulle out there, no one's scoring 1 through 3.
Yeah.
That is going to be the best defensive on-off like three-man combo in the league.
Now,
it's going to be disgusting.
I've heard some comps of Matisse Thybulle and like old Marcus Smart. Do you think that that's fair?
What?
Or do you see
Marcus? Oh, you're talking about like him,
college
Marcus
Smart?
Yeah.
No, because Marcus Smart was a great scorer.
That's what I
Marcus
thought.
Smart was ridiculously a good scorer in college.
Maybe it was current Marcus Smart then. I don't know. I saw Marcus Smart in his name, and I was like,
But even
what?
then, like
Meh.
Matthias Thybulle's longer than Marcus Smart is. Like Marcus Smart's a small,
they're both-
like compact guy.
But they're
Matthias
able to
Thybulle's
bully
long.
guys
Yeah.
for their position. I
just-
think was the point that they were trying to make.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like that's the thing is Marcus Smart has more heft on him. He's more physical with guys. Where Matthias Thybulle is just very long. He's suffocating. Like he'll suffocate you on offense.
I watched Marcus Smart suffocate Blake
No,
Griffin.
but I'm saying but he has more force to him.
Okay.
And he's like they're both suffocating,
Yeah.
but like it's just more of like there's so much on you where it's not physical. It's just like the presence of
Okay.
him. Where Marcus Smart's
He's
like
got
a
quick hands for his length, and yeah.
I think that, I mean, Marcus Smart was put up 18 points per game in Oklahoma his sophomore year. I just think the thing with Matthias Thybulle, if he can develop a three-point shot, he's going to be a NBA starter for 15 years. Like, he is that good defensively.
Wow.
He's smart. He's got great length, clearly, and he's just got a knack for the ball and a knack for timing blocks. He's got a knack for jumping lanes, and that just
Do you
seems
think
like a
the
Spurs
level of
pick.
competition is in question, though?
I mean,
Seems a bit weak this year?
He's been playing in the Pac-12 for 4 years, and this has always been what he's been doing. He's now a smarter player, and that's why you see the high levels of steals of 3.5 and 2.2 blocks. But even last year, as a sophomore, 2.6 or three steals and 1.4 blocks. I mean, even when he was playing with Markelle Fultz, 2.1 steals and about like a block a game. So like he's just been developing and growing. I think that's the biggest thing for him.
Yeah.
And I think you even look when he was playing with an elite guard in Markelle Fultz, he was shooting 40% from three. He was shooting 84% from the line, putting up 10 points per game. So I think that's something that is intriguing. Like if he's if he's in a good offense, which Washington's not, he might be able to develop into something, a great 3-and-D player. That's what you're looking for in the NBA. So I think you can't look over the seniors in this draft just because these guys have been playing for so long. They're so smart, and while there might be some guys with potential, they just have not had that production. Thybulle has this production.
No, and this is like the point in the draft where you can hit those players as well. Like for me, he's not a senior, but I'm going with an older second-year kind of player with Bruno Fernando. And for me, there's kind of two things I think the Spurs are going to hit on with both their picks. A center and then a wing. And for me, I feel like this 29 pick is perfect center territory because at that point it's like kind of take your pick where it's like, of course, Hayes, Bol, Porter will probably be off the board and you'll be able to get to pick between Fernando, Gorga, and then whether you like Gafford, Bazley, or even a guy that Dave brought up in our sleepers that I don't think will make the first round and will be a second rounder in Kanate from West Virginia. With me, Gorga and Bruno were two that I kind of looked back and forth. I called him Gorga again.
I know. I'm not even doing it, man.
Goga.
Gogurt.
He kind of fits the Gogurt. Kind of fits in there with international and what the Spurs usually do. But I look at Bruno and the only thing that is a negative for me in my mind is his turnovers. Like everything else is like, yes, he can do it. And with the wingspan that he has, which is longer than his height, I think it's going to add defensive. He's going to be defensive down below, and this is somebody that you can turn to after Jakob Poeltl's contract comes up after next year.
I think they might still look at Poeltl just because he hasn't had playing time yet.
Depends
But
on
I think
how much money he gets. Like his contract's not up this year. You still have him next year.
Yeah.
But after next year,
I don't think he's going to demand too much. I think it'll be interesting. Dave Peshkal, did you talk about him?
No, I didn't. But
I talked about Matthias so much.
I talked about Matthias
Yet
more,
again,
'cause
we're
he's
just
a player who
gonna talk about who Sean had going to him and then move on.
We'll talk
Sean
about
dictated the
about
segment.
Matthias
I
in a
know.
second because
I
he's
know.
at the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got Eric going here. Basically, I just laugh because the first thing you read from like draft scouting, and I'm just going off NBA Draft Room just for one example, is prototypical glue guy, do it all forward, plays to win, heart, hustle, and basketball IQ. Does that not sound like Spurs to you? Like all of that just seems like that's a player on the Spurs. But I'm going heavy for wing depth here. Right now, my Spurs draft is KZ Okpala. Get me a wing who can dribble, ball in hand. Love to add that versatility. And then you bring in Eric, and he can play at the 4, He's comfortable taking outside
Coach K said,
shots.
let's get real.
Nope, that
Ricky's
was
an
me.
unprofessional person.
Yeah, I
and
forgot to
using the
mute it.
sound
What the
on.
fuck was that?
It was my computer. I didn't have the sound.
I
off.
know what it was. I'm like,
I don't know. It was SI. Whatever.
It was a
that probably
bird.
opened. It's a plane. No, it's Superman.
no, it's SI.com.
Yeah, there you go. But the point being, he's a very smart player. He takes open shots when they come to him. He's able to score at a good rate. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. He contributes in a lot of ways that don't show up in the box score, which is nice. That's exactly what you want because you're not going to get a star at the bottom of the draft, most likely. But if you can get a guy who can contribute for 15 minutes off the bench at a steady rate for, the next decade, which is exactly what I see out of him. He's just got an easygoing game. Like, there's nothing about him that's amazing, which is why he's this far down. But also, his game doesn't really have a ton of holes in it either. So I look he's a solid player, and you know exactly what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, I think Peshgal is going to be a guy that's like just around that like 28 to 35 range.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a guy that sticks in that area. I just don't think there's a fit that's perfect for him yet. But let's move now to the Bucks. Final team we'll talk about before we get into the final kid, Darius Bazley. I have Daniel Gafford going there. Ricky, you have Taylor Horton-Tucker from Iowa State going there.
THT.
And then, Dave, you have Thibault. Talk why Thibault's a good fit for them, and then we'll move to Ricky, and then I'll finish it up with Gafford.
Because Bucks and wingspan, baby. I know the owner of that is now with the Magic, but I still have to stick with it because could you imagine? Like, literally, just stop it. Could you imagine that level of wingspan, that level of defense on that Bucks team? It's just, he's an instant plug-and-play, off-the-bench player, and then going forward, like you said, if he can continue to grow that offensive game, or because he's in a better system, maybe he'll be a little more efficient with that shot selection. I think it's an instant selection. He's a smart player. He's an older player, so he comes into a team with high expectations, playoff expectations for the next, as long as Giannis is on the team, realistically. They don't need the world out of him, but they do need someone who can contribute, and he can do that right away.
Horton-Tucker, what is your rank?
I mean, if I'm going the same way Dave is thinking, it's funny that I chose a 3 who is 6'4", listed at 6'4", has a wingspan of 7.1 because it's Milwaukee. But no, like for me, it was just the best 3 take it because Chris Middleton, we talked about him last week when we talked about the Lakers.
Gonna get
will he be
paid.
back? Will he get paid with somebody else?
Yep.
Even if he leaves, the Bucks could say, fine, we'll throw a contract at Nikola Mirotic to keep him. Giannis could play the 3 because it doesn't matter where
What
Giannis
position he's
plays.
at, yeah.
And I would just take a 3 to kind of play behind that and come off the bench here. I originally had Iggy when the podcast started, switched around this. Horton-Tucker would be just my best one. And you got to give some love to him because he's a Chicago kid, Simeon Career Academy.
That boy needs to get in shape. Like,
Yeah.
that's the craziest
6'4",
thing.
233.
Yeah, he's a fat boy.
Not
and
a
like,
wet boy, a fat boy.
No, you watch him play.
I
And you're
can't
like,
wait till that comes out.
Yeah. I was like, you watch him play, and you're like, wow. I think that if he, got some great conditioning coaches and, hits the weight room consistently as his only job.
He's got 8 points against Kansas right now as we're recording this.
Yeah. If he can do those things and get into great shape, he just needs to fix his shot a little bit. But he's got good passing for a big man, and they do play him as a big man because his weight. I think that the whole thing is he's got a ton of potential. So in this range, like you said, you're either going for someone who's proven it and you know what you're getting, or you're taking a total swing at somebody who he's a guy who Iowa should come back the next year. I'm sorry, Iowa State should come back the next year, continue to develop. He has upside. Absolutely. It's
he
there.
was one of your sleepers.
Yeah, but
One of your guys.
he needs to lose weight, get in better shape, and develop that shot. Because I don't think I've got him higher than this just because he's got a ton of potential.
Yeah.
I just
Good ball handler.
Yeah, I just worry about everything you said. The negatives stand out to me a
Yeah,
lot.
they do.
I think him going back another year would be big, just so he can shore up those things, and maybe even then he'll be like a guy like PJ Washington who goes all the way up to 14 as a sophomore. I just worry about can all those negatives actually come out as a positive? And hey, when you're the Bucks who can waste a pick, at 30, they don't need a guy.
Right.
I think that's not a bad pick for the
And that's
for the
the thing
Bucks.
is they've got an excellent conditioning crew because Giannis transformed himself into an absolute fucking machine out there. You look at the other guys they've had develop on that team, like DJ Wilson now looks like an NBA player, which is great because his first year he was nothing close to it. So I trust the ability, and that's the one thing I guess he could get is you're going to do your job in the NBA and you're being paid to go condition, go to the gym, work out constantly, rather than having to manage that schoolwork and everything else that comes with the college life. So he might be able to develop faster in the NBA, but he would be a higher pick should he go back to school and work on those things.
For sure. And one of those guys that we thought was going to be that was going to be Daniel Gafford out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I have him going 30th, and I don't think you guys have him at all.
Literally nothing changed in this game.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think we're overlooking
Did you say
is just
this
like
game?
His game.
Oh, his game. Okay.
the thing that we're overlooking is that we were having him in the lottery in a good draft. Right.
Yeah.
And then now nothing's changed in his game. He's gotten better. I mean,
he's just got more usage.
Yeah, he's gotten more usage, but he's shooting better from the field, 60s to 66%. He's improved his free throw percent shooting. Like everything has gotten better in his game.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I worry about is just like how limited is he? But when I'm looking at the Bucks, like you look at their interior defense, and you have Brook Lopez, Paul Gasol, guys who are going to be up after the end of the year, and they can't play inside defense. The only guy that team really can, or Wilson's one of them, and then Giannis, obviously. So I think adding just a bench interior defender would be huge. And also, he's a guy that can run off pick and rolls, and him and like Giannis at a pick and roll setting, like holy shit.
Watching them both crash the boards would be funny.
Yeah, he's a guy that's really aggressive. And if you're looking at centers, like he's a guy that's nasty. He can really throw it down, and he's aggressive, and I love that from him. The aggressiveness is huge, and that really jumps off the page for me. So I like Daniel Gafford for the Bucks. Let's talk about the last one, Darius Bazley, who started a YouTube channel. I have him going to the Nets. They can waste a pick. I really just wanted to talk about him. He's working for New Balance now as an intern. It's interesting because he's 6'8", right? He's a wing. That's huge in the NBA.
Yep.
He was a pretty good ball handler, and he's aggressive for what we've seen. From his high school days, but how much can his high school days transfer over? And we're really kind of looking, let's look at Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, Porter Jr. went to college, didn't play great there in like 6 games.
Yeah.
He was obviously hurt, and we were really basing a lot of our projections off of his high school game. So what have you guys not seen in his high school game that isn't putting him in the first round? Because he was a highly ranked recruit. He's a guy that's in shape still. I mean, he's kind of twiggish, but if he goes to the NBA, he might be able to add some weight. And I think he's really quick. I think he's athletic. Like, what are the negatives to Darius Bazley?
When you talk about a player with good handles as a wing, I wonder, okay, well, how well does he facilitate his teammates? And I go, oh, wait, he doesn't have teammates. So I've got to question that going forward at the very base level.
I mean, I was going to say the same thing. How many guys today, Cam Reddish, Nassir Little, to name 2, have we mentioned, oh, yeah, if you look at their high school tape, way different than what we're seeing now. And I think the reason why Bazley's in my second round is because I haven't seen him play this year.
Yeah.
There are guys passing him up.
But
there are guys jumping up.
We didn't see Mitchell Robinson play.
I knew you were going to do
that
to me. I knew you were going to do that to me.
But it's true. If you can go back, wouldn't you take Mitchell Robinson in the top 15?
We did have Mitchell Robinson in the top 15 the whole season.
If you actually did it, wouldn't you do it? But him falling to 36 is a damn crime.
I understand and I agree, Sean. We are on the same page. The difference is Darius Bazley may be in our first round as soon as he shows up to the combine. So our mock after May 16th, right? 16 to 19, I think, 15, 19.
Yeah.
He will be there. I just made that statement when we started these mocks was I'm not going to rate him until I see him play. So come that last one where we have the most possible information on these players, then I'll put him there if he deserves to be there. But you can't tell me that a player who is known for his ability to be a ball-handling wing who can facilitate teammates, when he doesn't have teammates, we don't have any game tape of him in the last year. Like there's nothing there for me. Yes, he can work on his shot. Yes, he can go work out and build up that NBA level body, but that's not going to separate him out until we actually see him out there in those 5-on-5s at the combine. Then I'll be impressed if he does well, or I'll be like, maybe he should have went to college.
Yeah, I think that it's.
I think you can't just say everybody is Mitchell Robinson.
I think that the Nets that they have the ability to just waste a pick. They should take them. That's the thing. Is like they don't really need
high upside draft group, and it's paid off for them in the past.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like what are they missing out on? And they did the same shot with Rodions, right? Was Rodions?
Yeah.
Where he wasn't getting playing time overseas. They wanted to protect him. They were just like, well, let's see what he's got. And it's similar, just because you didn't know what he was kind of an unknown.
Zana Musa was the one where teams were going to pick him, but he said no because they were going to stash him. He's like, no, I want to come over and play. 19-year-old. Like, super talented shooter, and basically they're actually like, yeah, we'll give you playing time. I mean, they haven't given him a ton this season, unfortunately, but at least he's over in the U.S. working out with an NBA level staff and training, like 24/7 working with the team, which I think has a value that's separate from the EuroLeague. So I agree. They're a team who absolutely is eager to take shots on guys. That's why I've got them going with THT, and I agree. You go with Darius Bazley. Similar realm of potential. So not too far off.
Yeah, I hope he can turn out to something. And fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
So let's see. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. This has been our longest episode ever. This is at 50 minutes. This segment. So this is gonna be what the fuck
This
is
is Jet Life. It's AO, Jet Life.
Oh,
can we just say the reason that you and I don't have him going in the first round
It's
is
because I think he's going back.
Yeah.
yeah. But where would you put him?
I would probably put him
Because I literally when I was putting this together, I had him all the way up to 17 to the Pistons.
I could see him 20 through 30 easy.
Consistency. Like
he's young.
But you see the sparks.
I
That's
get
the thing.
that.
He's young,
Like, I
he's
get
clutch,
that
and
he's
he's
young.
got the quickest release.
Exactly.
The only one who
Yeah.
has a quicker release is
back.
Darius Garland.
Exactly. It's like go
Garland's-
back,
I would put him
play
above
another year, hopefully get
would you
Illinois
put
to
him
the tournament,
above
make some
Tyler
noise, and then
Hero?
come out.
Who?
AO.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So
'Cause he's-
he's
I think
top
he's-
20.
does
Yeah.
Or I should say between 20 and 30, 100%. Potentially 15
he would be,
and 25.
He would be in this range if
15
I
and
thought he was
25
coming
is,
out.
I think, where he would land. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. We have the mailbag next week, so definitely tune in and subscribe for that. If you're listening on iTunes, please rate us 5 stars. And if you do have the opportunities, check out patreon.com/mostofpodcast. I swear to God, this stuff is going to be great. April 1st, check it out. We have some great tiers that are coming out, so definitely check that out. We'd love to have you as a patron, so check that out. For Dave Oster, for Ricky Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. This is the longest Fast Break episode ever. You're witnessing history. If you made it this far, we should do something. We'll do another thing. If you...
We'll make it longer.
No, we'll
24-hour live stream.
What's the spoiler in the bottom? You got to tell them to comment. If they listen this long, you get something.
My
can name,
computer is dead. That's how long we've.
here it is. If you could DM us on Twitter at MostOilPod with one of the names that we compared Cam Reddish to, guy, if you have to use the criteria again.
That's way too early in the podcast.
I don't care.
We talked about Cam. I want something from the mid, like something that's going to be a deep dive.
Well, this is kind of in the middle because that was like halfway through the first segment. This is
What did we compare?
There's 24
Little to?
There's 24 players. There's 24 players that have shot under 40% from the field, 35% from three, have taken over 3-point field goal attempts per game and over 10 field goal attempts per game. So 3 field goal attempts per game, more than 5, and then more than 10 field goal attempts per game, shooting under 35% and under 40%. If you can give me one of the 24 names, I will DM you, or I'll Venmo you $2 this time. $2.
Man, you're gonna lose freaking. Last time it was 5. This time
No, it was
it's
1.
2. Oh, okay.
It was 1.
It was $5 last time.
If you could spell, no, it was $1 if you could spell that one city.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. But if you could DM me one of the 24 names,
And you
I'll
did
I'll
it. I saw
Venmo
the
you-
screenshot.
I'll Venmo you $2. Let us know down in the comments below, and also DM us for $2. But that's gonna do it. For Ricky Widmer, Dave Oster, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.